I think that that's a broad statement when you're clumping all of the adults in one bag.
Yeah.
For example, drunk drivers, alcoholism is a disease, and I see it as another category where we can provide more intensive treatment as opposed to lockup. So I think we would need to look at what is happening in other states and the positive and negatives regarding, is it better to have bigger or is it better to have smaller and more intensive, treatment? The medical marijuana, and I do think it should be, controlled by prescription. As far as recreational marijuana, I think we really need to take a good look before we make any quick, fast decisions, because there's so many pros and so many cons and so many opinions out there, but we also need to take a good look at how is this going to affect the mental health of our population that is involved in it. Is it going to affect addictive behaviors? How is it going to affect the crime rate? And what is going to happen to healthcare costs as a result if it would go through and it would be passed?
The last thing I want to do is see us keep putting serial repeat offenders back out on the streets. We need space to keep them in jail, but at the same time, we've got kind of a cycle going on. If we have a soft justice system that once criminals are apprehended, arrested, and put in front of them, if they're just let go because prisons are too full, now we've just unleashed a security issue out onto the communities, and that's wrong. At the same time, to overflow the prisons to where it's unsafe for people to even work, we've got to find a happy medium. I'd like to see us get tougher on sentencing and in making sure that somebody who has just been let go on a signature bond on their 5th DUI arrest isn't put back out to do what we saw happen in Waukesha with the Good Samaritan accident. I'm not at this point, would want to consider legalizing recreational use. Colorado has issues, and I think those things aren't being discussed and observed enough. But on the other side, medical marijuana, the non-THC cannabis, I think is something that we do have to take a look at.
I believe it should be updated, and the facility should represent the rate of crime that we currently have. If we need more prisons, we need more prisons. If back in 80s, 70s, if we had been tougher on crime, there would be less crimes, there'd be less criminals, and then we wouldn't need these new prisons like we do now. If we kick the can down the road, and now we have to fix those problems. I used to be for medical marijuana, and then I found out about hemp-based CBD oil, which works just as well as marijuana-based CBD oil. So now I'm not sure where I stand on that. I'll leave it up to the voters to decide where they want me on that. But as for recreational marijuana, I'm against that. I believe it would be irresponsible. And then even if it is regulated, I had a friend out in Washington who did have his own marijuana plant, but Washington and California both regulate the industries out of, they regulate marijuana out of the industry. And so black market marijuana in California is more popular and easier to get than the actual legal stuff.